Matt, thank you so much for joining the AIM podcast.
Good to be here, mate. Happy to chat.
I'm pumped about this episode for a lot of reasons. One, you're an incredible guest. I think you have an incredible story that we're going to talk about, and you've got a lot of experience and knowledge on these topics we're going to cover tonight. But two, you're our first international guest all the way from Australia. So welcome to a United States podcast.
Awesome. First one. I like it.
I'm pumped, man. I'm sure people can tell off the rip from your accent, which is super cool. But yeah, I'm pumped, man. How's everything going in Australia right now?
It's a little special, I guess you'd say. The rest of the world seems like they've accepted things for what it is and realised, like everything else before us, that nothing's just going to disappear into thin air. So you've got to just move on with life. But Australia doesn't seem to think like that, I think. So we're still, lockdowns on massive amounts of the population, mainly, Melbourne and Sydney as capital cities. Like they call lockdowns for 3 or 4 cases. So we're talking cases here.
Wow.
As well. So yeah, it's just a mini North Korean offshoot.
That's crazy, man. I can't imagine that. I feel like personally we took what we had in the United States for granted. I felt like so many people were so upset, and we complain about having to wear masks in some places where you guys are still facing much stricter regulations and restrictions, which I couldn't imagine having to endure for this long of a time period, dating back all the way till early 2020.
Yeah, like Melbourne and Sydney have got it a lot worse. Where I'm at, I'm in Queensland, so it's a little bit different here. But again, at the drop of the hat, they call snap lockdowns. So there was 5 cases the other day, about 100 or so miles away from where I live, and the Premier said that we're very marginally avoiding a lockdown in our state, and our state is 3 times the size of France, and she's threatening that and keep in mind there's 5 cases with the same family too, so all the same family. That's how they do it. Then you've got curfews on people in Melbourne and Sydney, so they can't leave their house anyway unless they've got that special exemption to prove they can leave for work, or if it's grocery shopping, they've got a radius limit. They can't go more than a couple of miles from their house to do either of those things. They need to carry a special permit that says they can go to work if they can go to work. They're on nighttime curfews. So as I said, find me another country other than North Korea or perhaps China. I don't know. That China doesn't even have curfews, and that's Australia. So it's a joke, this country, to be honest. I'm actually ashamed of being Australian.
You're obviously welcome in the United States anytime. That's crazy to think about. I've had a friend who studied abroad in Australia, and he talked about how great it was. Obviously, his experiences were prior to COVID, and I'm sure prior to COVID, you would have better things to say as well. But man, I'm sorry you're still having to go through all that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely not what it used to be, and it's not a good look, for the future of the country from an international perspective as well, which is also a worry. Because if I was someone like yourself and knew what was going on, I would have no interest in coming here. I've got friends overseas, Australian citizens, that don't want to come back, and I'm telling them they shouldn't come back. And then you've got, I think it was the other day, that 15,000 people a month are applying to leave, because you have to apply to leave the country.
Wow.
And they're getting rejected. So
wow.
I didn't even leave the country.
I didn't realize it was that much of a process. Wow. That's even worse. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's something else, that's for sure.
Well, I think this segues nicely in kind of to the broader topic I wanted to cover tonight with you, and that's just basically how fitness impacts mental health. I know the restrictions, the lockdowns, the things you guys are going through is obviously impacting a variety of elements of your life, but I'm sure there's tons of ways it's impacting your mental health. And I think for people in Australia that are facing lockdowns, or people in the United States that just don't have the motivation to get into fitness, both things can be talked about, and how the importance of fitness really does impact your mental health. So I definitely want to dive into that topic.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're directly related to each other, and especially in this country now more than ever. Fitness, I mean, exercise is restricted, even though that's proven to be so beneficial to health, which this is supposedly all about. Exercise is restricted. Gyms are obviously closed. Outdoor gyms, so outdoor parks are closed. You've got to wear a mask when you exercise. You can only exercise for 1 hour a day, and it's got to be within that 2-3 mile radius of your house. So they're making it hard to even exercise. So mental health in this country is the real pandemic, nothing else. And that's very clear off stats and data. You don't have to be a scientist to see that. The deaths caused by suicide and the calls in, to kids helpline. We've got a kids helpline. There's suicide helplines. They're smashing records every week. And that's the real problem. And that's the thing that is getting ignored.
It's awful. It really is. And I think it's something that not enough people are stepping up and standing their ground on. I'm thankful that you have a platform, that you've been, very outspoken in a way that, and to me is leadership. And, you have a child that you definitely want to raise and teach them what is right and what is wrong. And then obviously, just how to be healthy and live a healthy lifestyle. And obviously fitness to some capacity is incorporated in that lifestyle. So what are you trying to do as a father to teach your children and just to lead in that way to show them that fitness definitely should be a part of your life, just for your overall physical health, but also mental health?
Yeah, just staying active. And, a lot's changed since I was a kid, technology wise, to what kids are growing up with these days. So there's obviously a lot more screen time. We didn't have tablets or smartphones or cable TV. Maybe, but can't even remember. So there's so many things now that suck them in to do the complete opposite than what they should be doing. That, getting outside, running around, learning, interacting instead of being on a screen. And that all relates to health and mental health as well.
No question. No, I agree. And I think you touched on a lot of, the physical things that exercise does for you. It decreases stress and increases your energy, your productivity. But I think there's even more to that. I mean, I think discipline is something we could definitely dive into, the discipline aspect, the accountability aspect of, how prioritizing exercise in your life can actually impact other areas of your life as well that are not inside the fitness realm.
Yeah, I think from my experience myself and dealing with all my clients, a lot of the time, majority of the time, it impacts their professional life. So their life at work, their relationships, because it all starts from within. If you're feeling healthier, you're going to be more confident. If you like the way you look more, you're going to be more confident. And that radiates to how you interact with people, to your confidence in your job, to your confidence in your relationship with your partner. You're going to be happier as well, because exercise is proven to, increase dopamine and mood. And it just has an on-flow effect. Like, I've had so many clients that have been with me, and during the program, they've, transitioned to jobs or started their own business, something they'd always wanted to do, but never had the confidence, I guess, to go out and take a chance. And them physically changing and feeling better within themselves just from their fitness gave them the confidence to then, quit their job and start something, or go after something that they'd really wanted to. So I think that's massive, and equally as important as physical health, as you said, is the mental health and everything it does.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think the confidence, you bring up an interesting point with the confidence stuff. I'm currently training for a marathon. I'm going to run one, hopefully run one in December. And so I've been sticking to a pretty rigorous training program, and I love lifting weights. So obviously I'm trying to kind of do the hybrid style of training where I'm running and lifting, but I'm also working and running a brand and doing all kinds of stuff. And so I'd like to prioritize my runs in the morning. And I'm not going to lie to you. There are some mornings when I wake up at 5 or 6, and I'm like, I don't want to go run 7 miles. Yeah. But I will say the confidence stuff is so true, because pushing through that tiny wall of adversity where I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed, I could sleep more, or just saying, no, I'm going to go put my shoes on, I'm going to hit the road. When you finish that run, you set the tone for the day, and your confidence is on another level. And no matter what you're going to deal with, whether it be relationships, business, other things in your day, you've already established that you're in the driver's seat and that you're ready to attack it with a confident mindset.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm a big fan of morning workouts. I start my day. I run a boot camp very early, so I start at 5:30 a.m. So I get everyone else to do their workout, but then it's my turn. Shortly after that, I pretty much go and train because, yeah, exactly what you just said. It puts me in a better mood for the day. I know that I've already done something for myself, something that I know puts me in a good mood. So it just changes your whole mindset.
No, it really does. And I think something that it's done for me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this if you've had a similar experience. You've obviously been in the fitness game a lot longer than I have, but I've seen it just like, it's completely just, turn my mindset upside down in some places. Like even with this marathon challenge, if you'd asked me a year ago from right now, would I ever try to run 26 miles? I'd be like, there's no way, it's not possible. But then you start training and you put in a plan and you stay disciplined and you prioritize your fitness. Now my mind's like, what else can I go accomplish? I'm going to go do that in December, and then maybe Ironman's next. Like I'm not going to settle. Like it's kind of changed my mindset.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, for sure, if you complete something that you thought wasn't possible, it's, it kind of gives you that, well, what's next? You want that, you want another challenge, and so now you're talking about an Ironman, which is going to be another level on the marathon. That'll be a big effort if you get through that. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah,
Maybe posted on that one.
man, I'll have to work on it. It's going to take time, but I mean, I think that's part of the cool thing about, having fitness goals and having goals in life, I think is really important. But fitness goals are cool because you can really track your progress, and they're typically metric. I mean, you can obviously have non-metric goals and just, be healthier, be happy or whatever. But when you put, a plan in place and you're going to prioritize it and you're going to be disciplined, like you can really see improvements. And I think that's super, super cool for not only your health, but your just overall growth as a person.
Yeah, for sure. And marathon seems to be the big one at the moment. I've got a few friends, 3 or 4 clients currently that I train online who actually, one just ran a marathon on the Sunday over in the US.
Nice.
Not exactly sure where it was. And then a couple are going to the Berlin one, which I think is coming up in October. So yeah, marathons seem to be all the rage, but I think it's just because it is such an impressive achievement running that distance. And again, exactly what you said, it is something that you can really measure well. And yeah, maybe I'm going to have to look at running a marathon now.
Hey, let's do it, man. Let's do it together. We can train for and meet up. I'll come down to Australia when everything lightens up a little bit and we can crush one down there.
Yeah, well, you might be waiting a while the way things are going.
Maybe you should go ahead and apply and come this way, then we can switch it up.
That might happen quicker, I think.
Yeah. Well, I want to dive into, like, this is an important topic. But I want to hear more about your story. I think you've definitely gone through some things that have not been easy. They've been challenges, but things that you've overcome. And obviously the platform that we've built here with AIM is talking about ambition and how having an ambitious mindset, can really take you through adversity. It can take you through the highs and lows in life, and it'll put you in the best place scenario. So I want to open the floor just for you to talk more about your story. And then obviously, you've been a cancer survivor, which is incredible. I kind of want to hear more about kind of that and everything that happened there.
Yeah. So I've always been involved in exercise. I used to play professional sport, so I was traveling around from a young age around the world doing that. And then, yeah, as you said, at 21, I think, 21, turning 22, I got a cancer diagnosis, which obviously it was a shock. It stopped me. I just lost motivation to do what I was doing and traveling and things like that. So I came home. I was living in Melbourne at the time, and I just had to deal with that. So I had to do an operation. I had to do a go of chemotherapy. And then I just lost motivation to to pick it back up and go back out and travel and things like that. So I stayed like healthy, exercise. I was at the gym when I could. Like I can remember the first day or two after chemo, I went to my friend's house and I jumped on the exercise bike, and I think I lasted like 90 seconds or something like that before
Wow.
I almost felt like I was gonna pass out. I was so dizzy and faint. But I'd like start with walking around the block and got that back up, and pretty quickly I felt all right again. So it's always been like a part of me, exercise wise, training wise, and then yeah, it's just kind of evolved from different training styles. So for the past probably close to 6 years now, I haven't gone to a gym. I do everything wherever I am, so to speak. So like, you know, the home workouts or just getting outdoors in the fresh air under the sun, with a mix of body weight and very minimal equipment. So maybe just a kettlebell or two, or a pull-up bar. That's kind of my thing, and that's what I've been doing for the past 5 or 6 years. So when all this stuff happened around the world, you know, with the gyms closing and everything like that, that had no personal effect on me in terms of my exercise, because I, you know, for 5-6 years hadn't been using the gym anyway. So yeah, it's changed and evolved, and I've found what really works for me, and I know that this is how I train my clients as well. You know, not relying on a gym, very minimal equipment or body weight only is fine, which obviously has come in handy the past couple of years. Yeah, no, I love it. It's just something that never gets boring for me, and gets really good results, and has kept me feeling better than I ever have before. So it was a bit of an evolution. It took me a while to get there. I kind of wish I did it sooner, but that's the way it is.
What would you say is your favorite part of that style of training? Like, what are the benefits, and why do you choose to train that way?
Just I think there's a few key benefits. The freedom aspect, not relying on having to go to a gym, which is, you know, if you don't rely to go on a gym, it kind of eliminates a few excuses. It saves you time because you've got the travel time, and then the waiting around for equipment if it's busy at the gym. So it gets rid of those things. And then, yeah, like if it's nice weather, I can go down to the beach, or I go in my backyard, or I go down to a local park or something like that, and just being out under the sun. And for me, that's the best. That's when you know, it makes me feel happy, and coming back to mental health, you know, all those things again are attributed to a better mood, you know, the fresh air and the sunshine, the vitamin D and things like that, and exercise. So you're combining those, and you're getting the perfect combination of health, mentally and physically. And then how it makes my body feel, I guess, is close to equal first. I used to suffer from really bad back injuries that went for about 10 years, and used to flare up a few times a year from bulged discs. And I'd probably get a big flare up 4 to 5 times a year, where it would basically wipe me out for a week to 2 weeks. And then since changing from the gym and doing the training I've done, my body's aesthetically changed to what I'd never had at the gym, but also how it feels, you know, touch wood. The back has never been an issue since. I'm just stronger and feel more balanced, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everywhere. So, you know, less injuries. I think a lot of people, especially guys, think, you know, body weight training is a bit pussy, but it's actually fucking hard. Which I mean, if you try, or you have tried, I don't know, you know, there's sure, you know, like body weight squats or push-ups or stuff might seem easy, but then you've got so many different variations where that just leads on to it. It's never ending, really. There's always something that you can do to then challenge you again. So learning to control your body, because I've done both, I can say, in my opinion, it's a lot harder than just shifting a weight.
Yeah, no question. I mean, even the challenge you just put out on Instagram I don't know if it was last week or early this week with the push-ups. I mean, that's a hard challenge. And I think you made such a good point. Like, there's so many ways to continue just to make things more challenging, add variations. But I love the longevity aspect. I think like long term, I'm still pretty young.
Yeah.
Like I like being in the gym. Like I just like playing college D1 basketball. And so like, obviously, the weight room was a big thing for us, but I
Yeah.
definitely do like the way your body feels,
Yeah, don't
injury
get me wrong.
prevention.
I love the gym as well. I mean, for me, it's also a social aspect. Yeah, you catch
Yeah.
up with all your buddies and stuff too. But it got to a point where I was only going to the gym probably for that aspect because I was just so sick of it. I'd hit a wall in terms of results, so I was plateauing. And then I kind of just sat back and like assessed, and I'm like, what am I fucking doing? Like, it's a bit of a waste of time. It's, the sun's shining, there's not a cloud in the sky. I'm stuck inside, waiting for equipment, wasting, 30 minutes travel time back and forth. Stuff this, like I'm going to go train outside. I see these, I can speak to these guys, catch up with these guys after work another time. Like I don't just have to be there for that. But I get it because, for a long period of time, I love the gym too. So, and I'm not knocking, any exercise is good exercise. If the gym is your place, then I'm not going to say, no, fuck that, I'll try something else. Like, whatever works for you and keeps you active and moving is good.
No, I completely agree. And I think there's also a really cool element of body weight training or minimal equipment training where you're kind of just, there is some planning involved, but there's a lot of creativity involved where you're having to think outside the box and you're coming up with new things, and it's forcing you to think in new ways. And I'm sure you can probably talk about that.
Yeah, well, I think that's where a lot of people struggled the past 18 months, or I mean, not so much for you guys now with everything open, but still here in Australia, gyms are closed in a lot of states. And, people that had been going to the gym as soon as that got taken away from them literally had no clue what to do. And I know this because I now train quite a lot of these people. So they quit and did nothing when they're at home and totally let themselves go, and that would have spiraled because then they would have felt shit about themselves and, a bit of depression, and everything got taken away from them. So work and the gym. So yeah, it's like when I first started, I got a coach as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always what I tell people, like the best athletes in the world still have coaches, so there's always a value in a coach. And I think that's really important, whether it be, for 3 months or for 3 years, whatever seems to work for you. But yeah, when I first started those first few months, I got a coach, I got a program to follow with Bodyweight where I learned so much and I got life-changing results. And probably without that, I wouldn't have learned as much. But again, at the end of the day, it was an investment in myself. And then because I loved it so much, I just did my own research. I started watching YouTube videos. Calisthenics or street workout was like when I first started, my main inspiration to get into that stuff, just because all those guys have phenomenal bodies as well, right? Like you look at gymnastics dudes and they're fucking shredded and strong as. And that's what I wanted to be, like athletic. So yeah, I would recommend people to, to learn and don't just go in with because then you'd get bored. So there's always more progressions that you can do. And it's not just like the push-ups and the burpees and a simple pull-up or something like that. Like there's so much more to that.
Yeah, I mean, and you touched on it, like there's certainly a functional component to that style of training and how that can apply to other areas of your life. Like your overall balance, your core strength, just the way your quality of living, like walking around your house, having a more athletic body can definitely benefit you the way you live.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. And again, like the gym depends on what sport, if you're playing football, and our football is different to your football, but I know you got some big dudes
American
there.
football.
I mean, yeah, if you've got to, you got to be the dude, I don't know all the positions, but if you're going to be the dudes that are hammering other blokes out of the way, yeah, maybe, working with body weight training is not the best there because you've got to be shifting big loads and getting used to that. But if you're, running back or something, you've got to be agile and quick. They focus a lot on sprints and agility work and things like that. They're not going to be shifting, massive weights like some of the bigger dudes. So yeah, I think, but for the majority of people that just want to feel good and look good, of course, then I know that can be achieved without relying on a gym, so to speak.
No, I couldn't agree more. You've obviously crushed it. You've done super well. You know your stuff. You're incredibly knowledgeable on the topic, and I know you've worked super hard to be where you are. What was it that pushed you into getting into the coaching side and trying to make an impact in that realm?
Yeah, just because I always wanted to be within the industry, because I've always been active and I like working out. I enjoy it. And then when I made that transition from the gym, and like I said, the physical changes that I made in 3 months from quitting the gym was something I'd never achieved for all my life in the gym. It was exactly how I wanted to look and feel in such a short period of time. My wife had just had our son, so she did the same training, or I helped her with training all from home. She got amazing results as well, lost, 30, 40 pounds or something in like 7 months, 6, 7 months just from home.
Wow.
And then I tried with my friends, a couple of mates, they got really good results. And then I kind of, found like that's what I want to do. I want to show more people this, and there must be more people out there like me that are only going to the gym now because they're disciplined enough to go, but they actually fucking hate it and they're sick of it. So that's kind of where I was, because I purely went for the discipline of going to keep active. I hated it in the end, not the whole time, but the last couple of years I did not enjoy it, and that's a big thing. Like, you've got to enjoy it for it to be sustainable.
No, I agree. I think that's something. I think that's a roadblock for a lot of people. Like, I think people try to fall into these slots where they're like, okay, I have to work out this way or that way. I think if you look across just being active, whether it be sport, body weight, in the gym, just going on a hike outside, like there's something for everyone. And I think that's the bottom line here. It's just like, find what you enjoy, find what you love, find what you actually like appreciate and look forward to, and then that should be the thing that you definitely double down on as a way to stay healthy.
Yeah, 'cause you'll get results that way too, because if you're looking forward to doing it, you're going to do it more often, and you're going to prioritize that. So yeah, 100% agree with you on that one.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm curious, what does your diet look like? Like, do you eat pretty clean? Do you count calories, or do you just eat kind of just eat healthy?
Uh, right. Yeah, I count calories loosely at the moment. Um, when I first made the change, I did it religiously, just because it was the first time I ever did it and I wanted to really get the hang of it. But because now I eat so similar, I kind of know what works for what I want to achieve.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'd say I loosely count it. I've tried pretty much every diet there is out there. For a period a year or so ago, I went full vegan for 6 months plus. Now I'm probably kind of that 60-40, where I definitely don't eat as much meat. I was never eating dairy products really anyway, but I've definitely cut back a lot on the meat, because of how I feel. I just feel lighter and I have a bit more energy that way, rather than, I think I used to smash like pound and a half of chicken a day or something,
Oh my
like at
gosh.
least every day. So that too much of anything can't be good. So my diet's very flexible. I would say that's the best way to sum it up. Very flexible. I eat whatever I want to eat, but I always kind of know the caloric value of that, I guess.
Right. No, that makes
Yeah.
a ton of sense. That's something I'm definitely need to learn more about nutrition. I feel like that's something that's not taught a lot. I don't know if it's taught a lot in Australia, but especially like even playing Division I college basketball, like they brushed on it, but we were not well educated. And I think that's really, really important.
I mean, it's lightly touched on, and then what they talk about, you can argue, is it the right stuff too? Because
Right.
with
Yeah, that's
everything
facts.
that's happening at the moment, who's who's sponsoring the messages of what to take and what to eat and things like that. When you've got cereals with an ounce of sugar in a serve, and they're putting them up as, tier 1 consumable foods, you have to kind of question that
Yeah.
aspect of it too. So yeah, they teach it. Whether they're teaching it for the genuine benefit of people, I would say no. So yeah, that's a shame in it too. And I mean, especially you guys, the States with the number 1 obesity in the world, right? Well, I think we're 3 behind the UK, so I'm not dumping on you guys. We're right up there too. But yeah, it's just like the fast foods. If you look at the TV commercials, that's all you see. You got, it's changed a little bit now, but I think all the major sporting teams, and like I remember watching the Chicago Bulls and all those NBA dudes, like they were all, talking about Coke and Pepsi and McDonald's and Burger King. Like those guys were endorsing that. That's not right. But that's
the money.
How we So
no, dude, that's such a interesting point there. It's funny. I was in the grocery store. I was in Walmart like literally 2 nights ago, and I've been trying to like vary up my diet. I eat a lot of chicken. I eat a lot of rice. I ground turkey, something I really enjoy. I do like a bowl, but I was like, I need more snacks because like I've got my main staple meals. I need to kind of fill more snacks. I need to eat more calories, more protein, especially if I'm doing this hybrid training. And I saw a sign and it said healthy snacks, and I was like down an aisle and it caught my eye. I saw the word healthy. I was like, all right, let me go check it out. Guess what was on the aisle?
Yeah.
It was straight Pop-Tarts and cookies. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, if this is what they're marketing as healthy snacks, what is unhealthy snacks? Like, it's literally just a line of sugary Pop-Tarts. Yeah. And I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly right. So, I mean, I think it's unfortunately, sadly, it's up to the individual or the family to educate themselves, because you're not going to get the right stuff from, what's getting forced down your throat, pretty much.
No question. What supplements?
There's a good tip. What the government says, do the opposite, and that'll be the healthier option.
Honestly, that's probably a good thing to write down and think about. Oh man. So in terms of supplements, do you take certain things? Probably protein. What do you take from a supplement standpoint?
Yeah, I take a plant-based protein. So I use this protein called Blessed Protein. And so that's kind of, if I can get all my protein in the day from food though, I'll do it. It's just, convenient. And I actually just like a morning smoothie. So that's when I chuck in banana and berries and a scoop of protein, just because I enjoy it. But I always tell people that food should be the number 1 source. And supplements are supplements, to supplement a diet. And then the only other thing I take, 2 other things that I take every day and have for years are, they're both Australian products. It's mushroom extracts. Joe Rogan's spoken about them. There's this brand called Life Cycle.
Oh, wow.
They're pure mushroom extracts out of Byron Bay, actually. And they've been around for like thousands of years in, ancient natural medicine, and the benefits that they have are unbelievable. So if, people want to do their research and Google like the benefits of mushroom extracts, I highly recommend checking that out.
I'm going to.
This other stuff called Reboot from another Australian company, Be Spunky, which is an all natural product, male specific, kind of does everything. So I don't take multivitamins or fish oil or stuff. Those are the 2 things: mushroom extracts, which is liquid, and this Reboot by Be Spunky, just capsules. That's the only stuff.
Wow, that's awesome. No, I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to check that out, because I'm not well versed with the mushrooms or anything like that. Yeah. I need to study it.
Yeah, they're not the fun psychedelic mushrooms that people might think when you say the mushrooms. But yeah, check it out. Life Cycle mushrooms. As I said, yeah, Joe Rogan's spoken about it on his podcast, this exact Aussie company as well. So the stuff they do, like Alzheimer's cures and heart health, it's actually crazy if you research the specific mushrooms as well. Wow. But of course, again, you won't hear about that on the TV or from the mighty powers either.
That's why we have these conversations, right? We got to expose people to
Yeah,
the real stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Well, Matt, this has been incredible. I really appreciate you taking the time. My final question, just wrapping this up, because I just like to ask this from different people. What would you say is your motivation, your reason for just life in general and just everything that you have going on?
Yeah, pretty simple, just to feel good. Um, Maybe it sounds too simple, but yeah, I just love the feeling, and I know you can relate because you're a fit, active dude as well. Is as you said, when you finished a run or you finished a workout, um, the feeling you get from that, I think it becomes a little bit like an addiction, I guess, the feeling that you get from a workout. So yeah, just to feel good, to keep my body feeling good for as long as possible, so I feel good, and then that would definitely be with, showing my son a healthy lifestyle, a healthy active lifestyle as well. So being good for myself, my family, and people around me, so I can help the best I can.
I love it, man. I really do appreciate your time. This has been awesome. Hearing your experience, your value, your knowledge on all this stuff has been super, super awesome. So thank you so much for being on the AIM podcast.
Thanks, mate. Great to chat to you.
Awesome.